Hi everyone, my name is Brice. I have a twin sister, Alen, and I hated her terribly. All because she was always being mean and trying to hurt me. I have no idea why she did that, but it was always like that. I think even in my mum's belly she pulled the umbilical cord over my throat and was born first. Mum told me that she even ate more milk, probably so she wouldn't leave me anything. So I'll tell you about an incident from our teenage life when my hatred for her increased even more. The thing was, I always had a passion for soccer. I couldn't live without it. For a long time, I tried to get on the school team, and they wouldn't take me. Guys used to say I was too skinny. I remember Billy, the team captain, once again blowing me off, telling me I was so skinny and weak that even my sister would beat me. Those words pissed me off. I hated being compared to her.
What did you say? What did you hear? Your sister would have beaten you with one hand. She may be a girl, but she's stronger than you, and prettier too.
Shut up! I shouted those words at him with particular ferocity. I wanted to hit him hard, so I swung my fist and missed. The force I'd put on Billy pulled me down, and I rolled across the field, flipping over several times. Everyone started laughing.
Ha ha ha! Horror! A nightmare! Brice, stop embarrassing yourself and go home, okay? You failed another attempt to be accepted on our team, so don't bother.
I came home angry and filthy. My sister was sitting in the kitchen chewing on an apple. I didn't feel like talking to anyone, especially her, so I went by and she didn't miss the opportunity to piss me off.
Hey brother, how are you? Why are you so angry?
I said nothing and went on, but then she threw an apple at me and hit me right in the head. Ouch! Are you crazy? I'm hurt!
Oh, how gentle we are, but I hit the exact target. I've heard you're having a Ponzi scheme, aren't you? You can't get the ball in the goal. What kind of soccer player are you then?
It's none of your business.
Oh no, brother, that's where you're wrong. If you keep screwing up, I'm only going to get more popular.
Why is that?
Everyone keeps coming up to me and asking how you even live in this world because you're such a clumsy loser.
Shut up, I'm not a loser.
What are you? You're a loser. You always will be. Always.
Fuck you. I was about to tell her off, but then my father came into the room. He asked me how I was doing. I didn't say anything and went to my room. I was angry at everyone, but most of all at my sister. It seemed to me that if she was out of my life, I would feel better. I shared everything with my friend Adam, and he suggested I sign up for soccer practice with a friend of his dad's. Adam said that in a month they would make me a classy soccer player. I agreed and started going to practice. It was very difficult. In addition to a lot of physical activity, I also had school and I could barely keep up. No one knew about my training except my sister. After a month, I grew in terms of professionalism. I would not say that I became a super player, but my skills had improved and I signed up for another tryout to get to ours. And the day before, my sister and I had a huge fight. It started small. She loved wearing my clothes and I hated it. I saw the t-shirt that I wanted to walk around in lying amongst the dirty laundry, and I went over there to kick her in the head.
Come on, I just wore it once.
Not once, you do it all the time. Stop it, it pisses me off.
You want some of mine?
Are you kidding me? You're a girl.
Yeah, but stronger than you.
Don't bring it up.
Why not? Don't you have enough stuff? Well, take some of mine. It might make you prettier.
I grabbed some scissors from the table and went to her room, took out her favourite shirt and wanted to fidget. I don't know what came over me, but I was so angry that I was shaking. Anyway, a few seconds later, we were already lying on the floor in a scissor fight. And honestly, I didn't mean to. Purely by accident, I cut off half of her hair. It was down to her waist, so long. My sister froze in horror, and so did I. Then she stood up and she cried. Shit, Alen, I'm sorry, please, I didn't mean it, honestly.
You're going to regret it, okay?
She left the house. In the evening, I saw that she had cut her hair short, almost like a boy. But honestly, she was fine as she was. I remembered I had a big day of selections tomorrow and got up early in the morning and had breakfast. During breakfast, my sister came up to me. Look, please forgive me. I didn't want to, but your hair looks very good on you.
Come on, never mind, it's okay. I like it this way too.
Really? It's cool? I'm glad.
Yeah, are you going out tonight?
Yeah, I have tryouts for the team.
You're not giving up hope?
I've been practicing.
Well, good luck. Here's water for your workout. There's lemon vitamins for you.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm off.
Go.
It was a very hot day, and I drank all the water before the game started. And then it started. At first, everything was fine. I passed easily, and then there came a moment when I could have scored the team's first goal, but my stomach hurt suddenly. I even got a cold sweat on my forehead. I blew the ball, and Captain Billy came up to me and told me I was screwing up again, but I couldn't think straight. I felt sick. When they passed me the ball again, I wanted nothing more than to run to the bathroom. I ran right off the field in the middle of the game, barely made it to the toilet, and couldn't get out there for a long time. After about 20 minutes, I was relieved, but when I got back on the field, Billy said I wasn't accepted. I was indignant. Why? Everything was going fine. I'm making progress. I'm just sick to my stomach.
Look, yes, you're playing better, but today you have a stomachache, and tomorrow what? We can't take any chances. You're too much of a problem player, so I'm sorry, it's nothing personal, Brice.
I got really upset. Everybody left the field, and I was left there alone. In the evening, I came home. My parents weren't home. Alen was sitting watching TV. She threw a lazy look at me and asked me how my day was going. Awful.
And what happened?
I blew it again.
Well, of course you did.
Thanks for the support.
You're welcome. Well, it happens to everybody. It's no big deal. I had to go to the bathroom. I'll do it another time.
Yeah, thanks. Wait a minute. How do you know I was in the bathroom?
Oh yeah, I didn't. I just assumed.
And then it hit me. What did you put in the water bottle?
Lemon.
Answer me. I ran up to my sister and she jumped up and we were running around the couch. I tried to catch her and she ran away, screaming that there was only lemon, but I wouldn't stop running. Eventually, she confessed to everything.
Okay. I slipped you some laxatives.
For what?
For my hair. You have no idea how I took care of it and how I grew it for years, and you ruined it for some t-shirt.
You always do that. You ruin my life, Alen.
And you're ruining my life.
I wonder how.
Every day I come home and hear from my parents that you're so good and smart, and me? You're into soccer and I'm just me.
Don't be silly. Your parents always loved you more.
No way. Remember on our birthdays, I never got what I asked for. Parents gave me what you loved.
And it was true. I stopped and it kind of made me feel bad. But I always thought you were better than me.
Then I wouldn't be jealous of you.
So we were both jealous of each other.
You envied me? Really?
Yeah, you've always been better, and at school, they all tell me that you took all my brains and beauty and left me with nothing. Come on, I was just babbing about being popular. I'm average.
Well, so am I.
There was silence. I sat down on the couch and apologized. You can take my stuff, just ask before you take it, in case I want to wear it and it's dirty.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't bother you anymore.
Tell me, what do you want for your birthday? And I'll ask you and your mum.
Really?
Really. So we made up and finally stopped feeding. It didn't work out with soccer, but then Alen suggested I become a goalkeeper. She said that if I wasn't good at passing and scoring, maybe I'd be better at catching the ball. I hadn't thought about that before, but she was right. They put me on the team for the first game because I didn't concede a goal, and we won. It was the best day of my life.
Do you have a little brother or sister? How do you feel about them? Have you ever thought about what would happen if you were left alone without them? My name is Mark. I want to tell you about my sister, or rather, why I hated her. Usually when another child is born in the family, it is groomed and cherished the most. And all because he is small. He is the youngest in the family, and accordingly, he needs more attention than the others. For me, it turned out very differently. When I was born, I wasn't the best. I didn't have any privileges. I didn't get snickered at. I didn't get more toys, and I didn't get more pocket money than my sister. She was more loved than I was. I had the feeling that she was younger than I was, although the age difference is 5 years. My sister's name is Alice. No, she's a good person and sometimes a good sister. Sometimes when she was in a good mood, she would bring me home new toys, ice cream, or even give me money. But there were days when she looked awful and acted like a bitch. She could have thrown me out of the room and slammed the door in my face. I didn't understand why her parents didn't scold her at such times. Why did they punish me for any such outbursts? Was she on a special account? But why and how? I remember once I had a birthday, but my parents said that there was no money for the celebration. And I wanted this event so much. I waited a whole year to ask for a new skate as a gift. And then, such a bummer. Naturally, my mood fell. The next day passed as usual, and in the late afternoon, I noticed that my mother was packing a suitcase somewhere. When I asked where she was going, she said that she and Alice should go to another country, and then promised that they would return soon. What? Another country? But how? Why not me? Why her? Why does she always get the best of everything? So they don't have money for a new skate and cake, but they do have money to go to other countries? Why should I do all this? My heart was filled with hatred for Alice that night. I went to her bedroom, watched her pack her own things, and just silently hated her. I have often wondered why they should have another child if there is no place for it in their heart. This unloved, sometimes superfluous member of the family was me. As long as I can remember, I've been trying to figure out the secret of my sister's difference from me. And can everything be simpler? It's just that she's she and I'm I. This continued for several more years, and things got even worse. My parents almost stopped noticing me over the years. I was in the house like a shadow, and I had already learned not to talk to them much, and not to pay attention to the way they hung around this witch. I went to school, did my own homework, signed up for sports clubs, and made plans to get out of the house as soon as possible. Yes, I made a final decision for myself. They will be better off without me, or rather, they will not even notice my absence. I just needed to find a place to live and some part-time work for minors. I waited for the day when my mom and dad left on some business. They promised to return late at night. I picked up my duffel bag from under the bed and headed for the exit. As I was walking down the hall, Alice noticed me. "Hey Mark, where are you going?" she asked me. I was rude when I said it was none of her business. "What difference does it make? Do you care?" I shouted back. Alice made a surprised face, came up to me and asked why I was angry and rude to her. This question enraged me even more. I realized that the silence accumulated over the past months was about to tear me apart. And I gave in to emotions and I told my favorite parents everything I thought about my family. You ask why I'm angry? Because I don't exist in your fucking family. You live your own life. Parents have recently ceased to be interested in how I'm doing. You sit down to dinner separately, separate from me. When I get home, no one even yells, "Mark, hi, how you doing?" And no one asks me how I'm doing at school. Do any of you know that I'm captain of the high school basketball team? Did you know that I've been going to a music club for a year now and I've learned to play the guitar? Yes, I learned to cook food myself with the help of Google. And all because you are not near me. You then with your father, then with your mother, travel around the world, go to some countries and do not even tell where you rested? And I wasn't even taken once. And then you ask why I'm angry? Maybe because I'm not your family, I shouted. I was yelling so hard that I thought my lungs were going to explode from the strain. I blushed and my eyes were streaming with tears. The resentment I had accumulated over the years spoke to me. Alice just stood there looking at me and crying. She just said, "I'm sorry," in a low voice. "Is that all? I'm sorry?" I asked her. She roared louder than me, slammed the door to the room, and cried. I didn't know what was going on. It turns out that my parents were standing behind me. They looked very depressed. Mom was crying too, and then she and Dad took me to the kitchen. My father said they had a serious conversation for me. I was prepared to hear that I was not their own child, that they had taken me for a fool, and now they were sorry and I had to leave. "Your sister has cancer," my mother said. She wept even louder. Dad put his arm around her, but he didn't look up from the floor. At that moment, I felt sick. I was prepared for anything but this news. Suddenly, I felt hurt, ashamed, and angry at the same time. "She was diagnosed with the disease a couple months before you were born, and your dad and I threw all our energy into her treatment. Alice was looking forward to your birth. When you were in my tummy, she read you her favorite stories every day. In the countries we went to, she received chemotherapy, after which she was very ill for a while. She sometimes couldn't even walk on her own, so she often kept the door to her room closed or maliciously kicked you out. She just forbade us to tell you about it because she wanted you not to be sad," my mother said. Then she pointed out that she was very sorry for me because when they saved one child, they did not notice how they destroyed another, me. I don't think I felt any worse. You can't imagine how bad I felt at that moment. I thought of such terrible things. I hated Alice, and I did everything I could to offend her. I just looked at my parents and cried. My sister came up behind me and gave me a big hug. I couldn't say a word. She calmed me down and said it was all her own fault. I still love you, you stupid boy, she said, and laughed. That night, for the first time in my life, I had such a long, open, honest, and frank conversation. All I asked was that you let me take care of her. Now, in all her chemo sessions, I was there for her, feeding her, reading her books, playing the guitar, singing songs. A few more years passed. Alice still has to undergo intensive treatment, but I'm happier than ever because I can be near my sister, whom I love more than anyone in the world.